And that has served me well throughout, my professional journey.
I think I remember you saying as a teenager you sold T-shirts.
I did, yes.
After concerts.
I sold T-shirts. I sold deli meats and cheese to my mom's friends. I worked summer jobs, painting and landscaping and in coffee factories. So, I did a number of different jobs. There's no, job that is bad. All jobs are dignifying if you do them with love and with passion and you serve others with that spirit.
That's a great message. And I think we are almost out of time. I would like to forecast next Sunday. We will welcome Dr. Nikolai Vitti, Superintendent of Detroit Public Schools Community District, for the first of what will be his monthly conversations with us on Journey to Jobs. Also next week, we'll talk to the principal of Randolph Technical High School and a young woman who is a student there learning all about the skilled trades. Thank you for joining me on 910 AM Superstation for the Journey to Jobs show. Have a wonderful week.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed.
Can health insurance be more human, more compassionate? Can it be healthier? It's up to us to show our corner of the world how. And it starts with putting people first. A task we take deeply to heart. That's why we don't see our members as numbers. They're our friends and neighbors. At Priority Health, we have 996,000 reasons to offer Michigan the best health insurance possible. And we care about every single one. Priority Health, a healthier approach to healthcare.
I golf with women who are 82, 85 years old, and they can hit the ball, and I want to be that girl.
Priority Health wants to know, what's your reason for getting healthy?
I was creeping towards high blood pressure.
For my kids, just being able to show them a healthy lifestyle.
One goal is to be retired for as many years as I worked.
Whatever your reason for getting healthy is, our mission is to help you get there.
I want to stay healthy so that I can keep dancing.
Priority Health, a healthier approach to healthcare.
910 AM Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town.
Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Are you an aspiring businessman or businesswoman? Are you a great communicator, love to meet new people, and want to make a ton of money? Do you despise sitting behind a desk all day and would rather be out making money? Well, we have the opportunity for you. 910 AM Superstation is looking for new, energetic, and committed account executives. If you can make the connections, build the relationships, and close the deal, that's all you need. Call David Bangora at 586-790-3838. That's 586-790-3838. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 AM the Superstation.
910 AM.
910 AM. On 910 AM Superstation.
910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. Be sure to catch Doing the D with Alexander Zonchek right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Many, many years ago, I would play concerts. 1978, my first record came out. In those days, I would play. A beautiful young lady would come up to you and go, "Oh, Alexander, I love your music. I have all your LPs." A couple years go by, and same beautiful girl comes over and says, "My mother loves all of your music." And I go, "Oh, wow, now it's her mother." And then you go by, and now what do I get now? My grandparents have all your LPs. I'm serious. I get that all the time.
The Voice of Detroit, Sundays from 5 to 7 p.m. There's always something new to talk about, and 910 AM Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Riley, and I'm so glad to be joining the family at 910 AM Superstation. We're going to be talking about it all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Don't miss it.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Great news. 910 AM Superstation is growing, and you can watch as well as listen anywhere you go. The 910 AM Superstation app is now supported on iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, Windows Phone, Apple TV, and Roku. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
Are we on the air?
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show, live from the Motherland. Live from the Motherland today. Wow, it's been a great week of shows. Been a great week of debates. I hope you've been listening in the mornings, 5 to 7. But we're gonna talk about that debate in Detroit, that unbelievable debate, and we're gonna go to the clip in a minute. But I just want to know. I want the people to call in today. Let me know what you thought of who won that debate. Was it Coleman Young II, or was it Mike Duggan? I think that Mike Duggan had more clear solutions, and Coleman Young had all the problems. That is true. Coleman Young spoke on some issues that Mike Duggan wasn't going to speak on, but I'm gonna cue it off by the introduction by Coleman Young.
Good evening and welcome to the only Detroit mayoral debate of Decision 2017. Together with our partners, the Detroit News and Detroit Public Television, we are live from our WDIV studios.
So you're going to hear the almost the unbelievable, you knew it was going to get funky from the beginning of this debate. I mean, you know, that's the reason why there was only one debate, because this is what Coleman Young was going to do from the beginning to end. He was going to throw flamethrowers. He was going to throw Molotov cocktails. He was going to make sure that, if nothing else, that Mayor Duggan was going to leave a little bit bruised. And so as soon as he got started, I knew where we were at. Let's get started. Let's hear that introduction.
You will go first. Good evening. Detroit is a tale of two cities. It's the best of times for those who are privileged and the worst of times for everybody else. These are the times that try men's souls. Reason why I'm running for mayor is young Damon Grimes, who was murdered by the state police for riding an ATV. For Miss Smith, who was terrorized in her own house by suburban police, and the Detroit police did not show up. For Malice Green, who was murdered, and my opponent covered it up. We deserve better. I'm running for mayor for the people who had their water shut off, for the people who lost their houses due to foreclosure, to the people who either got their license suspended or who are in jail because of racist auto insurance redlining. I'm running to be your next mayor because everywhere my opponent has been, there's been a criminal investigation. Whether he was at DMC, whether he was at DPS, whether he was at Wayne County, and now with the city. He needs to step aside and let an honest young man get the job done for all Detroiters. I'm Coleman Young II, and I'm asking you for your vote. It's time to take back the motherland for the people.
Thank you for your...
And there you go. And there you go. That was the motherland. He had me on the motherland, and he took us all back to the motherland. Coleman Young. Now, you know, this is my thing. You know, somebody got to him and convinced him it was a good idea to run for mayor this time around. I think some of my own fellow colleagues here at 9:10 a.m. encouraged him to run. You know, and all he did the whole time was bring up all the problems. We all know the problems in Detroit. There's no question about it. But we wanted solutions. And I just didn't get a lot of solutions out of that debate. I knew Coleman Young was going to come out swinging. I mean, it wasn't going to be just a civil debate without any name calling, without any making any grand announcements, grand accusations. But that doesn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me at all. But I couldn't believe that, again, the Motherland comment I thought was actually pretty funny. I think that became a hashtag over the evening. That was probably a trending topic in Detroit. But what do you think, folks? What do you think, Detroit? My 910 listeners, do you think that Coleman Young won that debate? Or do you think that Mayor Mike Duggan won that debate? Give us a call, 313-209-9000. 313-209-9000. Let's hear your voice on did Coleman Young win that debate. We're going to go to LaShonda, who's already on the line. LaShonda, thanks for calling in.
Hey, thank you for your show.
Thank you.
Listen, I had to laugh when I heard Mr. Skillian mention the motherland this morning, sitting next to Bankalay.
A real African, a man that's probably really from the motherland.
Well,
the real motherland.
We got to look at the continent of Africa sometimes because, you know, I focus on East Africa. And when I think of East Africa, and I think of the merchants and the immigrants that reside in the neighborhood, which is where I think Senator Young won, is he stuck to the point about the neighborhood. But who financially, business-wise, store by store, street by street, block by block, owns and occupies the business?
Right.
The immigrant stores and gas stations. We can go across to another part of the island and say how many Korean stores line up in our neighborhoods block by block.
Right.
And my point is that the brunt always seems to fall on the back of African, Black, Negro, colored, and not people of color, because we keep getting this distinction. Are you talking about colored people, or are you talking about people of color?
Mm-hmm.
All of these, definitions still, but going back to the debate, hands down again, because symbolically, just to be standing side by side with history, all in itself, no matter what, and that's how the books will read. Mm. But I'd like you to address East Africa merchants who have, for years, have talked down to black men, women, and children. I know a little bit of Arabic, and I know when I'm being cussed out, said something, to the side and everything. When are we going to stand up and challenge the silent ones who are only benefiting from this election, and yet they remain silent? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, LaShonda. Thank you. I appreciate you calling in. Well, I think that she brought up some very, very valid points. When she said, at first she kind of threw, when we were talking about Eastern Africa, talking about the Arab and Middle Eastern culture and we're talking about the merchants, we're talking about the gas station owners, the liquor store owners, and then we start talking about the Koreans with the hair and the wigs and the lashes and getting your nails done. And you know what? This is an economic problem that I have never been able to figure out. I've been in multiple rooms and talks and discussions. But I truly don't understand how black people as communities, we don't recycle our dollars in our own communities, okay? And that's a bigger discussion that we need to have in so many different facets, whether it's through our banking. That's where it starts. We don't support the black banks, and we have a black bank here in Detroit. We don't keep our money in our own communities. And now again, the liquor store and gas station component is something, it's a monopoly on that at this point. And it would take at least a generation or two to turn that around. But I think that people need to put some emphasis on ownership again. And that's, again, something that I believe in. But again, we as a culture, we don't support each other like that. And, again, to me, that's just calling out the problem. And I can appreciate Coleman Young for calling out the problems, because I told people, I said the person that needs to watch his back is my good friend, the dear Reverend Wendell Anthony, because he sounds like he wants to be the president of the NAACP and not the mayor of Detroit. Those are social problems, folks. Those are not going to help. What he's talking about are the problems, are the effects of some of the. And I don't hate to go here with the whole Democrat-Republican thing, but this is what happens when you let liberals run your city for 50, 60 years. And this is at a bigger level of that. But this is exactly what happens. There is so many different breakdowns and so many when you start talking about the family. Because when, Coleman Young, he was sure to bring up the fact that we didn't have as many of the jobs. But we're not training people in our community to get those jobs. We're not pushing for that. We are essentially, now we're starting to do a better job of it. And that's with Mayor Duggan and these guys pushing workforce development, trying to get investing dollars back in Randolph Academy. These are the things that are actually being done right now. And Coleman Young, who has had a chance to do things from the statewide position, has not helped alleviate a lot of those situations. And so I understand what Coleman Young is talking about, but a lot of those things aren't problems that the mayor is going to solve, and he knows that. But he's got to pull on the heartstrings of the people in Detroit to get them to vote for him. He knows that the things that he's talking about, there's not a government solution for. It starts in the home, starts in the community. There's a reason why we're not prepared for jobs. There's a reason why we're not voting at the clip. The irony, folks, is the people that he's appealing to most, the people that he's trying to reach out to the most, probably are not going to, they're at the best you could hope, they're going to turn out to vote at 15%. 20% participation rate. That is a community issue. That is, again, it's so many different levels of things. And so, Coleman Young, if you want to encourage more of the community to vote and encourage the community, if you want to just sue the insurance companies, you could do that. They've done that. But those, again, that's not the position. Those aren't the real solutions for the mayor. So we're going to go to the next caller. We got Olaf on the line. Olaf, thank you for calling in.
What's up, Wayne? How you doing?
All right. How you doing, brother?
All right, my brother. the only Republican I ever had love for. Besides,
how you doing
today? Once again, brother. Going back to the debate, I watched it. It was a great debate. I got to give it to Coleman. He came out strong and kicking like he was supposed to. He had to.
Right, like he had to.
He had to. I mean, he's the man that's trying to take a job.
Right.
So he had to come out swinging. He did, and Duggan did a great job of himself as the political pit bull that he is. He's old school. He came out swinging. I give the edge to Mike, though. I got to give the edge to Mike. Everything that Coleman kicked out, Duggan has something for him, man.
Because that's the point. He had solutions. He had a response. And I think I think to me that is the difference that Coleman Young, he's great at pointing out the problems. And I think that a lot of people are great at pointing out the problems, but what are the solutions? And what have you done addressing these problems for the last 8 years as a state senator compared to Coleman, compared to Duggan, what he's been doing for the last 4 years as a mayor?
And I'll tell you once again, the dude been down there for 8, 9, 10 years. I've checked his track record. He ain't got no legislation passed that helped any black folks here in the city of Detroit. And I'm not, once again, it might sound like I'm knocking the young brother, but I'm not. He hasn't done anything, man. Him, all the rest of those state Democrats down there in Lansing. And when it comes to, you can go back to Bank Lady talk, why didn't Duggan come to the town hall on poverty? But what you have to what people fail to realize.
It was a trap. It was a trap, Olaf. If he'd have went there, that would have been a trap.
Yeah, it would have been a trap. It would have been political suicide. You have Baker Lake down there. You had 600 Coleman supporters down there. I don't blame them. I would have went down there easily. They had Coleman sharpshooters all around there.
No question.
Let me tell you something. In 2009, when our great past president, Barack Obama, got up on the podium and said, Pookie and the Ray Ray, get up off that couch. Pull yourselves up by the bootstraps. Go to school. Get a job. Do something in life. He got no kickback. He got no pushback from the black community.
Well, Obama could say whatever he wanted to say to the black community.
I don't have a problem with Obama saying that. That's what he was supposed to say.
Right.
And that's fine, well, and dandy. But you go back 8, 9, 10 years later, you want this white man or a mayor of a city to sit up and be,
a social justice warrior.
I understand that. But if you are a young, healthy black boy or girl in this city, you go to school, you get your education, go to college, go to military, go get a job.
Yep.
I don't need no mayor to tell me.
Thank you. That's not the mayor's job. The mayor's.
You got to go do this on your own. I understand if you're sick, if you're the elderly, what have you. I get that. But if you're young and healthy, go get an education and go get a job. Okay?
Right.
My mother was on my head as a little boy. Olaf, get up, go to school, get a job, go to college. And that's what I did. I've been successful. Okay? So, all this stuff about the poverty and everything, I understand Detroit. It's the blackest city in America. We got a bad poverty problem around here, and that's true. But if you're young, you're healthy, you got to get up and do it on your own, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Olaf.
And wait on the government. You can't sit back and wait on the government.
That was my whole point. Like that's a setup.
No damn friends, Bob. I'm not sitting back waiting on no damn unemployment check.
There you go.
Okay?
There you go. Well, thank you.
That's all I'm saying. I know I'm going to get some pushback from callers. Yada, yada, yada.
You're telling the truth, Olaf. Sometimes the truth hurts. And even when it comes from a Democrat, they're going to get mad at you. But I appreciate you calling in. And you did say, again, you're going with Duggan. I want to take my poll, unofficial poll, as people call in. Did Duggan win that debate, Olaf?
Duggan won the debate, man. He won the debate.
Thank you, sir.
He won it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you calling in today. All right, we're going to go to...
All right, man.
We're going to go to Tony. Tony's on the line. We lost the caller, but we're going to go to Tony. Tony, thanks for calling in.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Hey,
how you doing?
I just want to I want to clarify a couple of points. One is I think that Coleman Young won the debate. Okay?
All right.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
He got Duggan to lie right on television to all the people. And when you talk about integrity, Duggan apparently doesn't have anything, because we all know that he's under investigation for the bid rigging. We all know that. And he set up on television and lied to the people. So the people, whatever you get from Duggan, may be more lies. So there's no integrity in his administration. And when he talked about, Coleman talked about the DMC piece, again, the DMC had to pay a fine because they were acting illegally and also had some bid rigging issues there too. So what you guys don't see, and I see this, that there are people in the city of Detroit, black businesses in the city of Detroit are being denied those demolition contracts and associated construction opportunities because he done put in these 3 white companies. So yeah, there's no integrity there. I would not vote for a person. I'm not living in the city, but I would not vote for a person.
Would you vote for Coleman Young though, Tony? I guess that's the question. Would you vote for Coleman Young?
I would say yeah. I would vote for Coleman for this reason, and only this reason. I think he basically brought up some good points about what he would do. Right. Now, there are a couple of things that he said that I didn't totally agree with, but I did think that he was basically honest about it, and I think he will have the people's objectives at heart, because I think he's trying to live up to his father to a certain extent, his father's legacy. So I think he will. But I know one thing: I would vote for him before I vote for Duggan, who sat up there and lied to people at the debate, and they sit up there and know that he's lying, and then he's obstructing people from blacks from getting contracts based on what he's done. So you can take it from there. Man.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Tony. I like to get everybody's perspective. That's 1-1. We got 1-1 here. It's Duggan versus Coleman Young. We got 2. All right. So we're gonna go to Winnette. Winnette, thanks for calling in to the Wayne Bradley Show.
Good afternoon. I'm getting ready to break the tie.
Go ahead. Let's break the tie.
I'm all the way Coleman Young.
Okay.
It's amazing to me. I'm listening to all these people talking about go to school. What schools? Do you live in Detroit?
Do I live in Detroit? Is that what you said? Do I live in Detroit?
Do you live in Detroit?
No, not anymore, but I am a graduate of DPS schools, went to Mumford, work in Detroit. Go ahead.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, you don't live in Detroit, so you, I'm sure, do not know that the majority of the schools that were open when you did live in Detroit are either closed or destroyed. So there are no schools in Detroit, okay? There's very few. And they have strategically located the ones that are basically downtown and in Midtown. Now,
so there are no good schools anywhere else in the city of Detroit but in downtown and Midtown?
But they're not like they used to be. Where I live currently now, I remember this was my uncle's house. And I've come over here all the time. And I remember when I used to come over here, kids would be outside, running up and down the street. I don't ever see any children. And that hurts me. There are no children over here. And why? Because Duggan and David Adamany in 1999 came in this town and destroyed our school system. They were one of the leaders. And then after that, here comes Robert Bob with Jennifer Granholm doing the same thing.
All these Democrats. Woo, there's a lot of Democrats you just named. Let's make that clear. Goodness.
No, Mike Duggan is not I don't believe Mike Duggan is a Democrat, okay?
Why is that? Why do you think Mike Duggan's not a Democrat?
A real Democrat, to me, I'm a Democrat, okay? There's no way that I would go to Governor Snyder's speech, State of the State. I wouldn't go there. For what?
Why wouldn't you go to the State of the State address as the mayor of the largest city in Michigan? You have a responsibility to be there.
I disagree with you, sir. I don't believe that that's why you go. You go because you're in the bed with these people. It was known, and you know this, that Mike Duggan, his name was on emails to be the new emergency manager, okay? And by Mike Duggan living in this town living in Michigan and in this area, he probably, I believe he told them, no, we can't do it that way. It's got to be a black man. So, I just feel that.
Boy, you guys have a lot of cynicism about Mike Duggan. The guy's doing so much to help the city of Detroit right now.
He's a crook. How can you, not only that, he has no heart. How can you turn off families' water? Just like Snyder did. See, that's a Republican thing.
Now, this is the question I got to ask you. And this is this. If you don't pay your water bill for 2 years, should you just let it keep running?
Okay, I got to ask you this.
No. Answer that. If you don't pay your water bill for 2 years, should it stay on?
You have an Illich family that was occupying Joe
Lynette,
Arena.
I'm asking just one question before we get to that.
They didn't want to bill either.
Okay, so shouldn't Detroit in general change the practice of how they collect their water bills? Because that's what you're saying is that, hey, well, since the Illiches didn't pay, then they shouldn't pay either. Never mind that the Illiches will pay, and they're going to negotiate sewage rates and all these other things. They will get paid, and they pay property taxes and all these other things. So I don't understand the comparison. So, Lynette, just answer. You said Coleman Young won. I want you to answer this one last question because we're going to a break here. If you don't pay your water bill for 2 years, should the water stay on?
No, I didn't say that. I said.
So how can you blame a mayor for cutting off water bills?
Every time I get ready to talk, you interrupt me.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish up before we go to the break.
If you don't want to let me speak, I'll just hang up.
I'll let you finish before we go to the break. I think Lynette hung up on me there. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go to the break. We've got a bunch of folks here. We're going to do some more debating after this. We're going to talk more about the debate and the motherland. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m., your superstation.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative political radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show.
There's always something new to talk about, and 910 AM Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
I'm Republican, from Detroit, and I'm black. Yeah, that's right. Different perspective, different view. Don't miss the Wayne Bradley Show on Superstation 910 AM.
From 7 to 9 a.m., we'll have the editor for the Detroit News, Nolan Finley.
This is the most volatile time in the country in my professional career. And, that generates a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Followed by the one and only David Alexander Bullock from 9 to 11 a.m.
The People Show, man, we bring it to you live and in full effect.
The always insightful and controversial Steve Niebling from 11 a.m. to noon.
And I do want to hear from you what you want to hear from me.
Bankalay Thompson from noon to 2 p.m.
This is the platform where we delve into the facts and informed opinion. We ask the tough questions.
The Cliff Russell Show from 2 to 4 p.m.
I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Spud from 4 to 6 p.m.
Detroit's only African-American talk station, 24/7 Spud is here.
Rochelle Riley from 6 to 7 p.m.
I want to stress that this adventure is about life in Detroit and Michigan.
This Pastor Mo, a.k.a. the Street Preacher, a.k.a. the Street Sweeper.
You listen to the Lola George Show. It's your girl, Lola George.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
Great programming. Inspirational.
I know there's some good info on 910 AM Superstation. The latest promo for the 4 to 7 slot at the end says, the Goon Squad's on speed dial got me listening to reruns up to the dial.
OMG. A-listers on the radio.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. 910 AM Superstation, giving you exactly what you need by any means necessary. Thank you for calling 910 AM Superstation. What's your question or comment?
Calling in 910 is great, but I think we need an actual forum with people of substance that want to stop what's going on. You mentioned something about demand grind. My son just turned 16. Don't think for a minute. I don't think about that every minute of the day. The protest is fine. We got to get together, fund in whatever to stop this. We don't even expect the people with the problem to be involved. We expect people to be there who got a pile of data and say, well, this is what's happening, and we need to do this and this. And then when it's time to go to the legislature, they don't have any support because they built it all themselves. So I think if we just start with defining the problem and allowing people to have their share in there, I think we'll go a long way in improving organizing and advocacy for the average person.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Be sure to catch Doing the D with Alexander Zonchek right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Many, many years ago, I would play concerts. 1978, my first record came out. In those days, I would play. A beautiful young lady would come up to you and go, oh, Alexander, I love your music. I have all your LPs. A couple years go by, and same beautiful girl comes over and says, my mother loves all of your music. And I go, oh, wow, now it's her mother. And then you go by, and now what do I get now? My grandparents have all your LPs. I'm serious. I get that all the time.
The voice of Detroit, Sundays from 5 to 7 p.m. Are you an aspiring businessman or businesswoman? Are you a great communicator, love to meet new people, and want to make a ton of money? Do you despise sitting behind a desk all day and would rather be out making money? Well, we have the opportunity for you. 910 AM Superstation is looking for new, energetic, and committed account executives. If you can make the connections, build the relationships, and close the deal, that's all you need. Call David Bangora at 586-790-3838. That's 586-790-3838.
And welcome back to the Motherland here on 910 AM, your superstation. Oh, Coleman Young II, you give me joy today. I appreciated that debate. It was entertaining at the very least. I hear a lot of people calling it. We're 2-1 now, I think, in terms of who won that debate. I think that's interesting. But we're going to take all the calls. I want you to call in, 313-209-9000. We got another half an hour, so we're going to talk the rest of Detroit here. And then in the second hour, we're going to a little bit more of our national politics. There's a lot of big things that are going to be happening in D.C. over the next couple days here. So, all right, we're going to go to David, who's been on hold for a minute. David, thanks for calling in to the Wayne Bradley Show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Wayne.
I appreciate it.
Let me say this. To the lady, Lynette, who previously was on the line, she never answered your question when you asked her, should water stay on for 2 years of a person who doesn't pay? Lynette is what...
Go ahead,
Lynette is what I call the ultra-liberal. They believe, yes, that water is a right, and it should stay on whether I pay or whether I do not pay. The water should just continuously flow.
Right. Yep.
Ultra liberals. These are what I call the black ultra liberals in Detroit who wants to turn the city of Detroit into a third world city. And that's what's going to happen with people like her. It's plenty of around.
I agree, David. Now, I kept asking her, and I think we finally got a answer at the very last minute when we said that, hey, do you think that this water should be free? Now, listen, water from the Detroit River, if you want to go get a bucket of it, that's free. But if you want clean water that's been purified and that's safe, that's going to cost you something. That's going to cost.
Right. That's going to cost. Lynette, they have to clean the water. Then they got to pump it to your house, your home, Lynette. And that costs money.
And listen, you know what the bigger issue is that we've gotten used to in Detroit with the bill collection and the way the water was being done that people actually got used to not paying their water bill. I've worked in real estate. I worked in people just did not pay their water bill, and now that Detroit is trying to function like a revived city again, they have to collect on their bills. Somewhere along the line, it got okay to not pay your water bill in Detroit for whatever reason that is. And look, the phone lines are blowing up, David. That tells me that somebody struck a chord here. But that if you want your water, you got to pay for it. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Right, somebody got to pay. And see, they don't see the reason that Detroiters are paying a higher bill now.
These lines are off the hook now.
Is because, let me say this to Lynette and all the other ones out there, the ultra liberals. Is because Detroit population has declined dramatically from 1 million to 600,000 people,
right.
And all the businesses that have closed, the people who have left. Guess what? And the people who have been paying for years and years, guess what? The people who've been paying, they're taking up the cost.
Yeah, no, that's
why. That's it.
The thing this irony is that Oakland County and all these other counties are the ones that have been paying more. That's what's keeping the water department afloat on cash. The same way Highland Park, they weren't paying. You can't have a functioning city and people just don't pay the bill and then the water continues to go. But David, look, man, I got these lines buzzing. I'm gonna let you finish up.
Last statement I want to make. Mike Duggan clearly won the debate. This guy has bringing jobs here, Flexingate, Sakia. He mentioned that. What has Coleman Young done? Brought anything to the city? Nothing. Let me tell you also, when he was in Lansing for 8 years, this guy was the messenger. All he does was tell you what Republicans are doing.
Well, that's my thing is that he didn't do much in Lansing, and it was always someone else's fault. And he never brought solutions to the table. And I don't think he brought any on Tuesday or Wednesday night either. So, hey, listen, David, thanks again for calling in. We're about to start getting busy here. We got a lot of folks here who got something to say. All right, let's go to LaShonda. LaShonda's on the line.
Hey, I just wanted to call back to make sure that I was included in the count for Senator Young.
Okay, you are. I think it was 2-2. I'm gonna start taking a tally here. We're gonna start taking the official tally here. But we're actually, I think now we're 3-2. 3-2 for Duggan.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep it going. But you're recorded, LaShonda. I got you here. All right.
Oh, okay. And the water, Flint, Michigan. Come on.
We're not talking about Flint, Michigan right now. Let's stick to apples and oranges to oranges. All we were saying is, should you pay for your water? It's not free. If you want free water, there are free sources. Thank you so much, LaShonda.
Right. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go to Deshaun. Deshaun is next. Deshaun, thanks for calling in.
Well, I'm siding for Coleman, and the issue is not just about the water, but it's also about what I don't see with Duggan when it comes to the issue with the police. With like I gave you an example, like with the prosecutor Kim Worthy, she had put 4 innocent men in jail, and she was never called out or hold accountable for that. If anybody else had made that kind of mistake, they would have got fired. And then plus, when the police chief goes down to the Senate to complain about how police officers are being treated, that's wrong, because the police officers are getting treated the way they brought it on themselves.
Wow, so it's the police officers' fault. You're blaming that on the police officers?
Yeah, I do, because look at the history of what they've done. I grew up here in Detroit, and I'm still here. I seen them shoot a guy being deaf. I seen when the Big Four was out here. I seen a lot.
So are you saying that the Detroit Police Department is not one of the best police departments in the country, and that they don't probably have one of the most stressful jobs in the country? I've never heard people talk.
I recognize they got a stressful job, but a lot of the problems come about from their own ass.
All right, well, I got I got one last question, because we got a ton of folks here. Do you think, Deshaun, that water should be free in Detroit? When you say the mayor's cutting off people's water,
it's not going to be a yes or no answer. It's not going to be a yes or no answer, because you got to look at the history.
It is a yes or no answer. Should water in Detroit be free?
No, it isn't. No, it's not, because if I go like that, I say the water should be free.
Fair enough. All right, well, I'm going to start putting a star by all the Coleman Young supporters that are calling in and say the water should be free, because we got at least 2 of those already. So, hey, listen, Deshaun, thank you for...
wait a minute.
Go ahead, finish up. We got a lot of calls here, because a lot of folks have something to say here. Go ahead, finish it up, Deshaun. Deshaun, you're still there? All right. Well, thanks, Deshaun, for calling in. We're going next to Walter. Walter, I think it's my guy here. Walter, you're on the line.
Oh, man. That's right. Y'all Detroiters can run, but you can't hide. That's right. This is the world-famous Walter. Wayne's one of his right-winging, hum-dinging, gun-slinging Negroes is back. That's right. I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Get ready. And by the way, since I mentioned T.D. Jake's favorite opening, get ready. He became T.D. Snaker Jake when he voted for Obama. Okay, now I'm done with that issue. Or would you prefer to call him T.D. Fake? But anyway.
Did you see the debate at all, Walter? Did you see who do you think won that debate? I have a good idea who you probably thought if you watched the debate. Who do you think won that debate?
Let me set the record straight. Well, by the way, I love when David called. He's another fellow conservative. He just got off calling a bunch of lazy Negroes in Detroit want some free water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same mentality that they got from Barack Obama and the Democrat leaders. Social giveaways, welfare, food banks, blood banks, more people moving back home under Barack Insane Osama, known as Barack Obama, Ali Obama, Omar, Muhammad, all those nicknames I gave Barack Obama. I know them phones really going to light up from now into eternity now. But anyway, I'm going to tell you, I don't think who won the debate. I know who won the debate. And let me talk about Mr. Coleman Young, the fake, fraud, and phony.
Go ahead.
Anytime somebody tells you they're going to not let the cops, when the cops pull you over, they're not going to require auto insurance. That's a fake, fraud, and a phony, and a pipe dreamer, a scammer, and all the other verbs and adjectives added to that.
Well, he can only. His idea was to sue. He was going to sue the insurance companies too. That's his plan.
Okay, that's the wish list, the social giveaway wish list, Santa Claus list for the Democrat voters. And he's stirring up the emotions, think they out there not going to be pulled. I'm going to tell you what, that ain't going to work. And these people with this mentality in these inner cities thinking somebody's going to give them something. You know these same clowns that call this radio show, including some of the talk show hosts like Mongo from the Congo, Race Pimp Mongo. That's right. I hope you're listening, Race Pimp Mongo. Who try to ban my calls. Who tries to ban my calls all the time, be let all the same.
I would imagine Mongo does not want to hear anything from you, Walter.
Oh, but I tell you what, they think that the world owed them something, and these same people talk. Still, you know, these same clowns talk about reparations. I'm gonna tell you what, get your job.
Hey, listen, Conyers has been talking about that for 30 years, and still, I don't know if even the bill has ever got to the floor, and that's between Democrat and Republican leadership. There you go.
John Conyers, his name fits its conning ways. He a Conyers, hers, and everybody else. That's why they call him John Conyers, a con man. You know, but no. Coleman Young, only thing he scored on was race pimping.
There you go. Well, that's his game. That's his game, and I like I said, like I said, if he wants to run for NAACP chairman of the Detroit chapter, Wendell Anthony needs to watch his back, not Mayor Duggan. We're gonna leave it at that, Walter. That's who his job he wants to go after.
Hey, let me say one more thing about reparations, okay? Can I say it real quick?
Go ahead, sir.
This lazy bomb mentality for black folks, especially talking about reparations, you better dig up them graves of them old dried out, 100, some of them been in their graves for years, from the Ku Klux Klan, the Democratic Party, those white folks, those slave masters. You better dig up their graves and get your reparations. Go get you a job, you lazy bomb. Nobody owe you nothing. White people owe you nothing.
Ouch.
Your party owes you something.
Ouch.
Them Democrats, leaders from your party owe you something, and most of them are black. Okay?
Let it go.
All those people, like the Kunta Kintes, the Chicken Georges, the Tobys, and so the women in it too, like Maxine Dirty Wallace, Lion Maxine.
She was in Detroit last night, Walter. She was actually in Detroit last night.
Oh yeah, she's a serial liar, and she's the Kizzy of Roots. Okay. That's who she is. And she need to get up. If you don't like that wig, get a new gig and buy another wig.
Oh, get out of here, Walter. I'm getting off this line, man, before you burn down the place. Thank you, Walter, for calling in. We're going to go to Shamir next. Shamir, you're on the line.
Yes, how you doing there, brother?
All right, how you doing?
I want to let you know that something. Maybe I know why 90% of people can't pay their water bill. Because when Mike Duggan was the CEO of Detroit, the DMC down there at Detroit Receiving Hospital from 2003 No, he was there from 2006 and 2012.
Mm-hmm.
They was running a towing scam down there, and I had nothing to do with Mike Duggan. He lauded a towing scam for a white supremacy towing company called Gotcha Son.
Who did this? Wait a minute. Hold on, Shamir. Start over. First, I just want to ask you the question. Who won the debate, Duggan or Young?
I think Young won the debate. Definitely. I was down there at Channel 4 News when I saw all of them his reporters. I'm quite sure of that. But maybe they can't pay their water bill because if he allowed 100,000 women's cars to be towed down to the DMC, he done nothing about it. Allowed this white man to take every poor person car that's come to visit. And these women don't have no money. They couldn't get their car back.
Shamir, tell me this. Can you ask me one more question for me? Before?
I got the evidence that, hold up, because I ask you something. When Dr. Child went to Duggan administration saying we have to do something about these poor women getting their car towed, 10,000 cars a year, he done anything to address it. What he done was made more available parking for his staff and the other whites and the doctors, but he done nothing to allow those poor women to suffer for 2006, and this went to 2017.
So you're saying that Mike Duggan, but when he was there, he made sure that the white doctors and the white men doctors and the Indian, because mostly these are Indians. I don't see too many white male doctors anymore anyway. So he made sure that they had parking, but did not have parking for the nurses, who we assume would be black women.
Women's crying in this lobby, but I got the evidence, the video to show this now.
So Shamir, answer this one other question for me, because obviously you have a.
He never even
do you think the water should be free in Detroit? Do you think that people should not have to pay their water bills? Or should they go 2 years without paying a water bill?
Giving away all this money to build stadiums and arenas and all this from the poor people and taxing them, I think so, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, Shamir, I got a lot of calls here. I appreciate you calling in, giving your insight.
A lot of black women suffer today because of Duggan neglected the CMC. A lot of black women and children suffering.
All right. Well, thank you, Shamir, for calling in and giving that insight. All right. Listen here. This is 4-4. We've got a tie, but I got an interesting stat here for you. Out of the four, I didn't get to question them before they got off the phone here, but out of the 4 young voters, 3 support free water for everybody. I don't know what's going on here, but hey, that sounds like young supporters to me. If you support Coleman Young, you're supporting free water, so no one should have to pay their water there. All right. So we're gonna go to John. John is next. John, thanks for calling in. John, can you hear me? John, you're on live with Wayne Bradley.
Good show, Wayne.
Thank you, sir.
Only thing I can say, that guy David and that guy Walter, especially David. My thing with David, what does he run? He can always sit up there and calling the candidate, Bethune and all that. What does that Negro ever run?
Well, John,
it's all right to have your opinion.
Right.
If you don't want to vote for the man, fine, don't vote for him. I don't just like white folks. If I don't want to vote for this person and that person, I just don't vote for them. I ain't gonna sit up there and call them Bethune and black folks this and
well, John, are you a Duggan supporter or who won that debate, Duggan or Coleman Young?
I'm from Coleman Young II.
All right, so he's up.
He's
up one.
For people because of their race, I vote for people's. I take a look at a candidate and see where they come from.
But all right, so this is my second question for you, John.
He got too much baggage with it.
This is my second question for you, John. Should you be able to go 2 years in Detroit without paying your water bill and they keep your water on?
No, I don't think you should go 2 years with it, but I think they should be more reasonable with the bill. So
what would be reasonable for you? Would it be a year? Would it be 18 months?
No. I think they can set a price that for affordable for each person.
So it should be some sort of fixed rate for based on your income or something like that. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, not on the basis of the income. Make everybody pay the same.
But everyone doesn't use water at the same rate. Why?
People got buildings and stuff like that. But it should be
according in some cases what you use.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right,
what you use, and that thing Brown talking about.
But the way you're talking about doing that is essentially you're talking about fixing it. But we know everyone doesn't use water the same way. So some people who are more conscious with their water are going to pay a higher bill because we're paying for people that let their water run all day. And so I think that's
same
why.
Thing with you when you use electricity and another appliance in your house. You have to pay for what you use.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough, John. Thank you for calling in. That's 4 people. Well, you didn't go totally free, so I'm going to put a half a star for you. But we're at 5. We're at 5. I'm going to put a star. I got to put a star with you, John, because you didn't give me a straight answer on the free water. But we're going to go 5. We got 5-4. Coleman Young is winning. But out of those people, 4 out of 5, and I'm going to. No, they think the water should be free. That's just an interesting theory. All right, we're gonna go to Charles next. Charles, thank you for calling in. These lines are off the hook. 313-209-9000. Give us a call. Charles, you're on the line.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Good. Well, I see you keeping a tally. I'm keeping a tally of the of my Sambo Awards, and I got 2 people's names on there already.
All right, who are they? Who's the Sambo Award? What's that about? So let's just start off with, let me assume that you supported Coleman Young. Coleman Young win the debate, Charles?
Coleman Young won the debate.
All right.
No, water should not be free. It should be affordable.
What does that mean? Since when was not water affordable in Detroit?
Compare the water usage rates with the sewage rate.
So I'm gonna go with a half. Here for guys that say it should be affordable, because that's a Coleman Young answer. So I'm gonna give that a half though. So we got 6-4.
Once again, I support Coleman, but dig this.
Mm-hmm.
As a tax-paying city employee, my tax dollars should not be going to Homerick to get $1 million plus contracts to shut water off. Detroit Water and Sewage. Prior to that, Detroit Water and Sewage was cutting the water off themselves. Secondly, why is water all virtually free for the state of Michigan and businesses and corporations who don't pay the bill? State of Michigan has been owing the city of Detroit water bills ever since the state fair. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And once hospitals owe water bills, shut the water off on the hospitals.
Wouldn't you just agree? How this is my solution, Charles. How about the city of Detroit step up and have an advanced system of collecting the water bill in the first place? Instead of all this, cut off this person and cut off that person, how about everybody get on the same page and pay your water bill if you're a hospital, if you're a corporate? Listen, the problem with the way the city of Detroit operates with the water bill is the sewage aspect of how much your drainage is and when you run off. So you have these churches, you have these hospitals that are getting charged way more money in the sewage intake. It's not just the water usage. No one challenges the water usage. They challenge the sewage rates. And I think that's the problem. So again, when people say they don't pay their water bill, they pay the usage. They don't pay they challenge what the sewage rates are. And that's always going to happen in Detroit, okay? So how about we put the onus, and I think Mayor Duggan has done a better job of this. How about we put the onus on the city and its leadership to collect the bills? That's how you make a city function. You collect the water bill. You collect the property tax. You don't let people sit in the house for 5 to 7 years that haven't paid the property taxes. Because guess what? The city is the one that's losing money right now. They're losing revenue. I know it sounds bad to say, don't cut off the water, don't kick a person out. But if you're not paying...
The city is doing like the Taliban. They're only going after the soft targets. Okay? They're doing like ISIS. You're going after the soft targets. Go where the money is first. I mean, I'm not saying don't shut water off, but you're not shutting water off at the. Oh, they will go and shut water off.
You do realize if you cut off the water at the hospitals, not only do you affect the people that are sick there, there's people that work there, those are jobs. Those people are paying taxes into this city, and so again, the problem is here that I think the bigger problem here is Charles, is that people in Detroit, and that's everyone, that goes from the businesses to the residents, had gotten used to a city that didn't collect their bills on time. And so now it's a shock to the system that that the city of Detroit wants their money. That's all. That's
Last comment.
Go ahead, Charles.
People need to stop talking about what has Coleman Young done. Because in 2013, nobody questioned Mike Duggan. What the hell did Mike Duggan do?
Well, Mike Duggan already had a background of leadership. He had led the DMC. He's had executive experience. Coleman Young has none.
That's not for the city of Detroit. Okay, you're expecting Coleman Young to do a mayor's job before he becomes mayor.
No.
And that's a win-win for Duggan because that allows Duggan to do just what he's done so far.
When you bring an executive in, when you bring an executive in, especially as a CEO, president, or something like that as a company, you want to see leadership experience. And Coleman Young has absolutely none. So thank you, Charles, for calling out. Do appreciate it. Thank you for calling to the Wayne Bradley Show today. All right, you're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 910 a.m., your superstation. Make sure you call in after the break. We have an explosive debate going on here.
Need to know this is it's the Wayne Bradley Show. The Wayne Bradley Show.
If you want to hear the voices of Detroit, look no further than 910 a.m. Superstation.
So my mom was only 42. She was thin, genetically thin. I want to emphasize that because there's a misconception that if you're thin, that means that you're fit. And that's not necessarily so. And so one of the things that I share with the employees at Oakland Schools was that it's really important to know about your genetic history. So what is your genetic disposition towards chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, diabetes? Is that something that you do not know? Are you aware of your genetic history?
1833. A couple of interesting things happened that year, one of which is West Bloomfield, Township of West Bloomfield, became a township, 1833. In fact, West Bloomfield became a township before the state of Michigan became a state. Now, aren't you all thrilled to hear that? This is important stuff, right?
910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation has arrived, and we're here to stay.
But the mayor claims he's done all these things that we see that are visually different downtown and in Midtown. So why couldn't some of that money...
Kwame did the same thing. Bing did the same thing.
We're not talking about Kwame and Bing right now. We're talking about Mayor Duggan. If these things have been done, and a lot of great things have been done in the last 4 years, I think that why people feel left out is because the concentration has been isolated.
When you go to another city, do you care about the neighborhoods or do you care about downtown that you most likely are staying in?
I care about all of it because I don't live downtown. Maybe you do.
I see that differently.
We've got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
Coleman Young just proved the fact that he's a buffoon. This guy said, Motherland? What does that to relate to? God.
Let me ask you this, David. Let me ask you this. Before the debate, were you already leaning toward Mayor Duggan as your candidate?
Yes, I was already, because I know about Coleman Young.
Catch it all right here on 910 a.m. Superstation. 910 a.m. Superstation. We're the hottest station in town. Why? Because when it happens, we talk about it.
Call somebody a crook long enough or often enough in the course of an hour debate, and a lot of voters will walk away believing, oh my gosh, he is a crook. And I think that was Coleman Young's strategy. He also pounded this idea that Mike Duggan is absent from the neighborhoods, that he's not out there among the people, that he is wedded to the downtown developers, and that he spends all of his time courting those developers and worrying about downtown. And he just kept coming back and back to that. And then this idea that the neighborhoods are not getting what they deserve in terms of Detroit's comeback. And, those were the themes Coleman Young pushed. I thought he kept Mike Duggan on his toes a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
910 a.m. Superstation, the best, the brightest, and the bravest voices of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation, giving you exactly what you need. Thank you for calling 910 a.m. Superstation. What's your question or comment?
Mario, what was your take?
I have a feeling that most people watched the first part of that debate and said, let me go watch Mr. Verlander pitch a couple innings. Because I was disappointed in Mike Duggan because Mike has been known to be a master debater. And he didn't deliver those solid punches that I thought he was going to deliver. And I was disappointed in Senator Young for the simple fact that he inserted race from the beginning, he inserted race in the middle, And he closed with this race-baiting Take Back to Motherland thing, which I thought was totally out of place, inappropriate for someone who was behind in the polls and wanted to deliver and convince people that he had a solid plan of action to move the city to the next level.
Call in and chime in on the conversation. Take down the number and lock us in your speed dial. It's 313-209-9000. That's 313-209-9000. Be sure to catch Doing the D with Alexander Zonchek right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Many, many years ago, I would play concerts. 1978, my first record came out. In those days, I would play. A beautiful young lady would come up to you and go, "Oh, Alexander, I love your music. I have all your LPs." A couple years go by, and same beautiful girl comes over and says, "My mother loves all of your music." And I go, "Oh, wow, now it's her mother." And then you go by, and now what do I get now? My grandparents have all your LPs. I'm serious. I get that all the time.
The Voice of Detroit, Sundays from 5 to 7 p.m. We're the hottest station in town. Whatever you need, it's right here on 910 AM Superstation. The most powerful voices in the urban community. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
Are we on the air?
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative political radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show.
And welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show, live on 910 AM, your Superstation. Make sure to give us a call, 313-209-9000. So far, my tally is 6-4 that Young won the debate. But my interesting sidebar to that is that 3 of them believe that water should be free, and 2 others have this, what I call liberal solution of affordable, but won't give me any details on that. My friend Johnny's on Facebook Live said he is not with the free water, but you can put it on the property taxes. Well, guess what? If they're not paying their water bill, I might assume they might not be able to pay their taxes either, but that's just an assumption. What do you guys think? Give us a call, 313-209-9000. African immigrants probably liked by Duggan. Yeah, they probably do, and they probably support him not only by making a little noise, they actually financially support him. And that's something else that as black voters and black groups we need to start putting more emphasis on, is how we put our dollars into all these other things and frivolous activities. Start putting it behind good candidates that will represent us, and use our dollars in those kind of ways as well, creating our own infrastructure and politics, and it's not run strictly by what I consider the unions and special interests in terms of urban politics. There's only about 1 or 2 or 3 groups that put money into black Democrats, and there's fighting. It's usually the unions. That's why they won't touch anything that's non-union, and whoever else wants to toss them a couple dollars. So we're going to keep talking about this conversation. We're going to go to Gerald. Gerald, he's been on the line for a minute. I apologize. Gerald, thank you for calling in.
Hey, what's going on? I guess I'm number 7. I'll be number 7.
Gerald, number 7. All right, Gerald, but you're going to have to answer my other question. Free water?
Put me down for 7.
So can I put you down for the free water?
Free. No, water shouldn't be free, but it should be
affordable.
Should be a level playing field. You wake up as the city of Detroit and you ain't got no money, and you got the big wigs that owe you $1 million, and you got the little folks that owe you $30. Why do you call the people who owe you $30? Call the people who owe you the $1 million to get your money.
My
suspicion,
Gerald, is that when you owe $1 million, it's a negotiation, and you will get paid, compared to the person that owes the $30, and they do that every month for 2 years, that they had no intentions of paying. Now, that's the difference, and there's nothing gained by that, and regardless of that, you still have to send out the crew and water folks to maintain those neighborhoods. We can all agree that the businesses owe money to the city of Detroit, too, but I would also agree that those big businesses pay money on property taxes, they pay money on payroll taxes, they pay money on paying their employees, and they still pay those water bills. But they, like I said, most of the time with big businesses and churches, it's funny how we mention big business and church in the same sentence.
No, most of them.
But they also are arguing over the sewage rate. They're not arguing over the usage. of the water.
That just started. Now let's see why we so vigorous on cutting people's water off.
I didn't say vigorous.
It's because Mike Duggan tried to sell the water department, and the people he tried to sell it to said that we couldn't even collect our money on the water department, so why should we buy it?
Thank you.
So
how can now that ought to tell you something right there, Gerald.
Just so he can prove to these companies that they can collect money on them in order for him to sell the water.
Let's start with that. That ought to be the real problem right there, because everyone says that the gem of Detroit is our water department, which I agree. We have some of the best water probably in the world, right? But
it should be.
But if you're not collecting on bills for 2 to 3 years at a time, and maybe longer than that, this goes back before Duggan. You can take this all the way back. I mean, from all the mayors, no one ever placed a priority on collecting water in Detroit because you know why? You had Oakland County paying. You had Genesee County paying. You had Macomb
County ain't paying. Them folks ain't paying no water bill. When the last time you seen some trucks out there cutting them folks off as if
okay, so let's take that back. Let's take that to the next situation. If you don't pay, they put that on, and within 6 months they put it on your tax bill, and you have to pay that within the next year. Okay,
they certainly do.
And so wait a minute. That means that the Detroit Department of Water gets their money from Oakland County. Now the onus is on that homeowner to pay his property taxes with that water bill that's been accrued. So they do get paid.
Same here. The water bill go to our taxes here too.
It's the same place though, and that's what puts us in the. You can't say that you're getting paid when it's the same city. That's what's put Detroit in the bind.
First of all, we shouldn't even have this conversation with all this body of water around Michigan. We should build.
It should be free.
See,
that's what you're telling me. It should be free.
Turn it into electric. We should be selling electric to every state.
Well, we don't want to deplete our natural resources. Now, we're not trying to give it out to the other parts of the country. Now let's keep the Great Lakes right here and keep making sure they're taking care of the people right in this region. So hey, listen, Gerald, I just wanted to so now we're up to 7-4, and I do appreciate you calling in today. I'm gonna let you finish off with the last statement because you waited a minute. Go ahead. Gerald, I'm going to let you finish that off. All right, Gerald is done. All right, Gerald, we're going to go to John. John's been waiting on the line. John, thank you for waiting on the line. You're on the Wayne Bradley Show.
Oh, Wayne brother. What storm blew you in?
What you say there?
What storm blew you in, Wayne brother?
Oh.
Huh? The Trump storm blew you in, Wayne brother. Hey, Wayne brother, you know the Trump going down, don't you? Some of his men about to go down tomorrow morning. So
you guys better hope it's nobody from the Hillary Clinton campaign that's going down tomorrow. Those indictments are sealed.
We're talking about Trump right now, though. We talk about Clinton.
No. Wait a minute. All right, I tell you what, John. Since you want to talk Trump, I'll let you hold on because I want to get your vote first for Young and Duggan. Who won that debate?
Man, Young blew Duggan out of the water. Did you realize he told him look right into the mirror, the camera, and tell all 100,000 people that you cut their water off? And listen, Wayne.
Why do you guys keep blaming on the mayor? So if it had been, if Bing would have done it, would it have been Bing?
Wayne.
Come on, man. This is the white-black narrative. Huh?
He's a crook. He's an investigation already. So, Wayne, you can't look over that. Now, taxpayers know better what's going on with that guy. Now, listen, Wayne, you said that the what he said about home, the home Motherland and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Wayne, he was talking to his base. He was talking to women with children, grand women with children. He was talking to Hispanic women with children, African American women with children, and Asian women with children.
So, John, it sounds like you're totally in the corner of Coleman Young here. So
listen, you want to know who he was talking to? He was talking to his base women with children.
So what you're saying is, I know how you just brought Trump into that. You're saying that he was appeasing his base. That's what he was doing. He was reaching out to his base.
You were talking talking to his base. I think he was talking to his base.
No, there's a difference between just talking to. He was appeasing his base. He was giving them something he knows they want to hear.
I don't consider appeasement.
Appeasement.
He was talking direct to the camera and talking to his base.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this question too then, John. Should water be free? Should water be free for the city of Detroit, for the residents?
Well, that's a rhetorical question, Wayne.
No. I've had 3 people that said it should be free.
Listen, Wayne, do you realize how many billionaires and millionaires downtown with these apartment buildings, with these
what does that have to do with the people that's not paying their water bill?
I'm saying you blaming.
I'm not blaming anybody. Everyone's an individual. If you don't pay your bill, it gets cut off.
You trying to point the finger at President over $100 a water bill, and you got other folks out there owing 10, 20, 50.
They're gonna get that money. They're gonna get that money, John. You know it, and I know it. They're gonna get that money. That's a big difference. You keep talking about the guys that owe 10 or 20 grand. If you haven't paid, if you haven't been paid, if you haven't paid a bill in 2 years, you probably should get your water cut off, or the fact that you don't consider it a priority to pay your water bill. And this is the city of Detroit. When they did not collect for years, this is why people got like that. Now people are mad that you want to cut the water off. Come on, man.
But they accept because they send them here, they send them there, they send them over here, over yonder. So people was confused about why they gonna pay the water. They were going down there trying to pay it.
Nah, John. If you've gone 6 months without paying a water bill, you know you should go on and pay that water bill, John. But
they try. So
all right, so I'm not gonna since you wouldn't answer on a free water bill or free water. I'm just gonna put a blank here as to you want some kind of affordable rate. You want some kind of alternative, but it's something other than paying the water.
How did you guess? You're a good guesser, man. That's an affordable plan to pay their water bill. That's exactly what they need. And so, the low income people, other people, working class people, pay their bill. And they paying the highest taxes in the country for income.
Well, if you're mad at the high taxation, in Detroit, city council is the one that keeps pushing millages on the residents of the city.
In the city, Wayne.
All right.
Highest bills in the country.
That is because of the millages put on the people by the own elected officials here in Detroit, and they tell the elected officials tell the residents, vote yes on this millage, and that's how we get the highest property taxes in the state of Michigan. So thank you, John. I appreciate you calling in today.
Remember that we take care of Oakland County too. Remember that.
All right, we're gonna go to Curtis. Curtis is on the line.
Yeah, Wayne. Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm all right. Curtis, all right, give me your number. Is it Duggan or Young?
Oh, okay. I say Duggan.
All right, we got a Duggan in here. That's 5 to 10 to 5.
Young, but I think
you support Young.
I support Young, but I think Duggan won the debate. But I support Young. Okay.
All right.
Listen to me now, Wayne.
Go ahead.
Wrong is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Paying a bill is not paying a bill.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a single mother or a corporation, $1 billion corporation, Wayne.
Agreed.
No, paying is not paying. It don't make no difference whether it's a single mother who's struggling.
I just said
Wayne,
that.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
People off.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's $1 billion company. You and the Republicans always want to give the people that's able to pay, which is the $1 billion corporations, a break.
Mm-hmm.
Paying your water bill is not paying your water bill. And yes, I think you should pay for water. I've been in Detroit all my life.
Right.
I'm 60 years old. I've never had, through the grace of God, I never had my water cut off or shut off notice.
All right.
But I do have empathy. There are some people, Wayne, who cannot pay their water bill. Now, it's a health issue whether a hospital gets cut off or a single mother. What's the difference, Wayne? Except the hospital got more people in it, but it's still a health issue if a single mother gets a water cut off.
Mm-hmm.
It's a health issue whether it's one person or 1 million people.
Right.
It's still a health issue. So they shouldn't get a break because they're a corporation.
I think when
they shouldn't negotiate.
No, wait a minute. I don't think. Again, I keep telling people if you're listening to me, I said they don't negotiate the water usage. They negotiate the sewer rates and what's going down.
Nothing. If I can't negotiate,
no, wait a minute. Why? That's good business. Why would you not negotiate? That's good business.
Negotiate
You don't have those kind of sewage rates. And best believe, if you lived on a corner house, if you live on a corner house in Detroit, or you have that sewer right in front of your house, you should negotiate your sewage rate. You should go down there and take care of that.
I pay the bill.
Right.
Whatever the bill is, I pay the bill.
Well, again, these companies rely on us doing that and not questioning them. I think if you live I'm saying that businesses understand that. Churches understand that. So challenge it.
They shouldn't get a break. If I gotta pay mine, they should pay theirs.
Well, I'm okay with that. That's more fair than anybody else is called in with these making affordable or free.
Matter of fact, the corporation should be able to negotiate anything because they are able to pay whether they get a discount rate or not.
So tell me this. Okay. Tell me this, Curtis.
Anyway,
I got one last I had one last question for you. You said that Duggan won, but you're supporting Young. Why do you think?
I'll tell you why.
Why did he win?
I think. Okay, sometimes temperament.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, when you debate, it's about temperament. Okay, it's about your temperament. I think that, if I had to choose a winner, it would be Duggan in the debate, if I had to choose a winner. But I agree with what Coleman Young said about there is two cities. And if you ignore that, Wayne, what happens if you ignore...
I mean, you can make that, you can make that case that there's two cities in every metropolitan, there's two cities in Chicago.
I live in every metropolitan area. I live in Detroit.
No, wait a minute. So stop acting, but we should stop acting like this is only subject to Detroit. If you live in Chicago, if there's two cities in Chicago.
What happens in Detroit?
Has there always not been two cities in Detroit?
No, listen to me, Wayne. Just listen. I told you, I'm trying to be fair. I told you I thought the man won the debate.
Right.
Even though I supported Young. Young had a very valid point.
Uh-huh.
Dwayne, you could develop all the downtown you want. You could develop all the midtown you want. Detroit never, ever come back to be the city, a great city, unless the neighborhoods come back. Am I right or wrong?
I agree. And they're doing that, though. They're investing in the neighborhoods now. They're doing Bagley. They got the Bagley development. They're doing stuff in Brightmoor. They're doing stuff in different neighborhoods.
I don't have a problem with that. But it comes to the point where too much. I tell my wife all the time, she never can find the middle. She always go left. She always go right. But she passed the middle going each way. You have to do the middle. You can't run to the neighborhoods when it's time for election and then put in streets and playgrounds and sweep the streets. That ain't going to work, Wayne. We're not that stupid. You understand?
Right.
The investments must be in the neighborhoods. If there's no neighborhood, there's no Detroit.
Gotcha.
The majority of the people in Detroit live in the neighborhoods. They don't live downtown, and they don't live in Midtown. So you and any other city, whether it's Birmingham, Southfield, Farmington Hills, they invest in their neighborhoods first.
People in those communities need to invest in them as well. That's not necessary.
And then they west. Go downtown Farmington. Go downtown Clawson. Go downtown Roy Oak. If you go in those neighborhoods, the city of Roy Oak is invested in those neighborhoods first. The people will come to downtown. Okay, but if you ain't got nobody in the neighborhoods, you don't have nothing downtown. Another thing, Wayne, let me tell you another thing. A lot of them people live in Midtown and downtown. They don't even have their address here, Dwayne.
They sure don't. They sure don't, because that's the insurance rates are ridiculous here, and that's another thing that Republicans are working on. Tom Leonard was just here in Detroit on Friday trying to get some insurance reform. Count on Republicans to clean up the mess that these Democrats make. Hey, Curtis, thank you.
You vote for the mayor. Listen to me.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish up. I got a lot of calls here. I got to let you wrap this up.
Mayor, okay? All right. Thank you for letting me have my little say, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in.
All right, you have a nice day.
You have a blessed day as well, sir. All right, we're going to go to Robert. Robert's next. And let me tell you this. Call in 313-209-9000. 313-209-9000. We've got Young up, what is this, 8-5 here? Pretty impressive. All right, we're going to go to Robert. Robert's on the line.
Yes, how you doing?
Hey, Robert.
Listen, no one should get nothing free. Not just water, but
I didn't think anybody got anything free in America. I mean, this is about some personal responsibility, right?
So, my dad taught me years ago to work for anything I get.
Yes, sir. So, same here.
I've been working since I was 13 years old, and I've always paid my way through this life. But listen, but I have a problem going on here. By the way, I didn't see the debate. but I am voting for Coleman Young. It's really an anti-Trump vote. Since people acted a little bit funny on me on that, I figured I'd go for Young in the city.
So wait a minute, you're gonna vote for Young as an anti-Trump vote?
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. It's not that I don't like Trump, because I feel like the man is worth $10 billion. He had to do something right, even though he filed a couple of bankruptcies.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not care for the way he ran his campaign. And yes, I am one of those people who you can't believe he got elected. I am admitting that.
You got to get over that. You got to get over that, Robert. Don't make another bad decision because you can't get over the fact Trump won.
But there's an old saying that foolishness begets foolishness. But listen, now, can I say one thing about one of your co-workers, and I'm not going to mention them by name? I wish you guys would come to me, like your previous call, I wish y'all would meet more in the middle ground, because both of y'all got points, both of y'all got bad points. Now, and what I mean by that, one of your co-workers comes out on a Saturday, he's Republican. I admire him, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a statement that he became part of the reason he became a Republican is because the way they treated Jesse Jackson back when he ran for president.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, the Democrats did not treat him right because he had one set of issues. But he's forgetting that the Republicans did not exactly treat Alan Keyes with soft tissue. You know what I mean? I don't know if you remember.
Well, I mean, listen, if that was his reason, and I know who you're talking about because that's one of my mentors, I don't have any problem with that. At the end of the day, we all have our different reasons, whether it was the way we witnessed black people, whether they're candidates, employees. I mean, I could go on about how I don't like to see somehow, some of my friends that have worked either with a party or worked with candidates have been treated. So we all can choose different reasons, but whatever your reason is, you made the right decision. And to join the party. And again, Alan Keyes might not have the best relationship with his state party. I mean, a lot of this is based off relationships and how you get treated in politics.
Yeah, but they picked him up physically and took him out of the building like he was a rag doll. So what I'm saying is, sir, is that they all have faults along the way. We need to do a better job, even though you might be Republican or Democrat, and I don't consider myself neither. I'll vote for you if you ran. I've heard you speak.
Mm-hmm.
I would vote for you because you believe in independence. I believe in independence.
Right.
No problem.
Right. Well,
when we get to the point that we go so far on one side or the other that we better be ready to fall off that cliff, then we have problems.
Right.
And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with this on Coleman Young, the old nigga, not the youngster. Back in 1967, there was a man who said, the black man in Detroit is going to come into great political power.
Right.
But he's going to wake up one day and find out he has political power, but he's going to be running an empty nest. You know who said that?
No, who said that?
Joseph L. Hudson of the department store. And that was 7 years before Coleman Young became mayor. How was he able to predict that? And still, you can predict that and still blame the failure on the city, on the mayors of Detroit, when they knew that if black people took over, they were going to be moving out and taking their resources with them.
That's a fair question to ask, Robert. I think those same folks are coming back now, so they got some confidence again in this city. So thank you.
And by the way, Mike Duggan is a Democrat now. Don't forget.
I know. Trust me. I love reminding folks that. So when folks get mad at me like, oh, why are you supporting Duggan? I say, hey, those are only two choices I have in this race. But, yes, I don't mind letting folks know he is a Democrat.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, Robert.
Hey, if you run for anything, I might just vote for you.
Well, I will keep you updated if I decide to run for something. I'm always praying on what's the next best move for me. So thank you so much.
You take care.
All right. We got Matilda on the line. Matilda, thank you for waiting. Matilda, you're on the line. I don't know. Matilda's on her phone or something. She's texting somebody. She's too busy over there. All right, so we're going to go to Sinatera. I wanted to say Sinatra, but Sinatera. Sinatera, you're on the line with Wayne Bradley.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes, sir.
It's Sinatra.
Sinatra. Okay, I saw it right there. Sinatra, what's happening?
How you doing, man?
All right, how you doing?
All right.
So I gotta get you first. Duggan or Young? Who won that debate?
Duggan won the debate.
All right. We're getting a little Duggan starting to creep back in here.
But Duggan doesn't care about the population of the city.
You say he doesn't care about the population of the city?
No, he cares about making money. Here's the problem.
But I'm sure he has to recognize that more money comes with a bigger population if he gets, more population and more jobs and more opportunities, right?
No, not necessarily. It's like voodoo economics or this trickle-down economic tax bill they're trying to push through. Just because the ones at the top get more money, it don't mean it's going to trickle down to the ones at the bottom. You got to have a hard surface for that. If there's a sponge at the top, the money going to stay at the top.
Right. I understand. I think that Duggan has an approach that he understands what's going to take to build it and make it bigger, and I think he does have a desire for more, to fill out the neighborhood. The neighborhoods, people are investing in the neighborhoods right now. I'm seeing it. Maybe that doesn't get the news. That doesn't get the flashy news that another Dan Gilbert building's going to get, or some multi-million-dollar development. But they're rebuilding in the neighborhoods, and private investment and individuals are investing in these communities. And I think that that is also a precursor to how well the future of your communities are going. It's not a government solution to improve neighborhoods like that. It has to be some opportunity. An investor will come in and fix up houses in the neighborhood with his own money, but he has to know he can rent them out. He has to know he can sell them. He has to know that he can get a loan on that property when he tries to sell it to someone else. Can that person obtain a mortgage on a property in Detroit? And those are the challenges. Again, when you start looking at those kind of challenges, those are the things we need to be looking at, not necessarily what Mike Duggan himself can do to improve these neighborhoods. I'm going to let you finish off this one, Sinatra, because I got to go to a break here. What else you got to add to that?
Corporations are fundamentally about making money for their shareholders. It is the job of government to take care of the public. And I don't know how people think corporations is going to take care of the public. That's not what they're about.
All right.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sinatra. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in. All right. Well, we're about to go to a break. We got the last half hour. I'm going to probably take these last two calls on Coleman Young, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going to be happening tomorrow in D.C. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m., your superstation.
Show, conservative, lyrical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative, lyrical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show.
910 AM Superstation, the best, the brightest, and the bravest voices of Detroit. Don't believe me? Just listen.
There's a bunch of new businesses that are downtown. And I would think that, if you're downtown, race is out of the window, especially when we see the new Detroit. I was reading an article, and the article was saying that black-owned businesses, when they're trying to market towards other races, that they have to hide the fact that they're a black-owned business. Should we have to hide that we are a black-owned business in the city of Detroit in order to be able to market to all people? Or should we just be able to market to all people? I was reading an article, and it says that many black-owned businesses choose to hide their identity in order to be able to garner a widespread appeal. Pepper Miller, president of Hunter Miller Group Market Research and Ownership, said that the perception of black people can only do black stuff. That sounds crazy to me. It ain't pretty, but it's the truth. It's called racism. And I don't think that we can only do black stuff as black folks. I think that we can be able to do all things that anybody else can do.
910 AM Superstation, giving you exactly what you need. Every weeknight at 9 p.m. is something new and something fresh.
This is Todd Corser, and I want you to check out my show. Listen in and call every week as we explore government and hot topics. Tune in, raw and uncut.
This is attorney Michael Schwartz at 9:10 a.m. Superstation, and you can hear me every Tuesday night starting at 9 p.m.
Hello, Detroit. This is attorney Crystal Crittenden, and please tune in to my new show, The Truth Matters, on 9:10 a.m. Superstation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on on Superstation 910 AM.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I listen all the time. Great radio personalities.
The new mobile site is incredible. With the visual live feed, this is a whole new level for community broadcasting. I'm also very impressed with the Bible section present both in a written and audio format. 910 AM has really stepped it up to a whole new level.
Tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. 910 AM Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town.
Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation. We're the hottest station in town. Why? Because when it happens, we talk about it.
Call somebody a crook long enough or often enough in the course of an hour debate, and a lot of voters will walk away believing, oh my gosh, he is a crook. And I think that was Coleman Young's strategy. He also pounded this idea that Mike Duggan is absent from the neighborhoods, that he's not out there among the people, and that he is wedded to the downtown developers, and that he spends all of his time courting those developers and worrying about downtown. And he just kept coming back and back to that. And then this idea that the neighborhoods are not getting what they deserve in terms of Detroit's comeback. And, you know, those were the themes Coleman Young pushed. I thought he kept Mike Duggan on his toes a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
910 AM Superstation, the best, the brightest, and the bravest voices of Detroit.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show on 910 AM, the Superstation, your motherland, right here. We're home. We're here, the motherland today. All right, so we got the last two callers here. I'm not going to take any more calls on the debate. We didn't get to have any fun talking Trump because he's been on fire all day on Twitter, going ham, having a good time talking about Michael Moore. We're going to take these last two calls, but I did get someone to say they were going to vote for Coleman Young as a rebuke to Donald Trump. Hey, go ahead. Go for it. All right, we're going to go to Leroy. Leroy, you're on the line.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call on the mothership. You know, this thing about, I looked at the debate. Coleman Young seems to be argumentative, unintelligent, and just plain really stuck on stupid. There's nowhere in the world I could vote for someone like that. You know, the fact that, you know, it was brought out that he don't even go to work as a state senator, and he brags about his state senator record. I mean, the guy, you know, as black folks, we really need to put that boy in his place, because there's no way in the world that
he shouldn't have ran this time. He should have ran for city council. I think if he would have wanted to go run for city council, and if he wanted to be a thorn in the side of Duggan for the next 4 years as city council, that'd be more effective than what he's doing now. And I think that he probably would have some traction if you decide to even if you wanted to run for the majority seat or, the most popular seat or whatever. He could have figured out a way, I think, to have run for city council. So, Leroy, thank you so much for calling in today on that. Let me I didn't get your opinion on this. Young or Duggan? Who won that debate? All right, I think we lost him there. Harry, you're on the line.
I'm here. How are you, Wayne?
All right, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Now, a couple of things. The debate was a draw.
It was a draw. Okay, Duggan so I got a 1 for a draw.
Yeah.
All right.
Duggan wouldn't admit what he has not done for the neighborhoods and the people in poverty in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He spent a lot of time dedicating his time to downtown. And Coleman Young should not have said Motherland. That's very obvious.
You think?
Right. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is that you are talking to a retired water department employee.
Yes, sir.
So, no, I do not think water should be free.
I bet.
Costs money. It costs money to clean that water when you flush your toilet.
No doubt. Well, that's what I was saying. If you want free water, go down to the river. Get a bucket.
That's right.
Get a bucket.
That's right. It's like you said. Take a bucket, and that's where your free water is.
There's no better way to go to do it.
If you water your water through your tap, that water has been cleaned, and that has a cost.
Somebody worked on that. Somebody had to work on that. Somebody had to operate to make sure that water was clean.
Right. Somebody had to add chemicals. They had to run that water through filters. You have to clean water that gets flushed down the toilet.
Harry, I would be concerned if my water was free. And I was getting to how are they doing that? How are they doing that? So listen, Harry. All right. So you said Duggan won. You said it was a tie. Who will you be support? Who will you be supporting most likely in this election?
Coleman Young, because the only way you can prove to me Duggan is a Democrat is if you could show me his house in 2007 and he had Obama's and he had Obama's stickers on his front lawn.
So you need that. You need that verification, huh?
He believed he was a Democrat.
Oh, you guys got to lay off of Duggan. He's a Democrat. I promise you, he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat, guys.
I promise you that you can't know what a person thinks in their mind. It's just like Granholm. I don't think she was that much.
Oh no, she was a Democrat, true and true. We will not accept. As a Republican, I will not accept anything with Jennifer Granholm in the lost decade.
I recall something about a proposal East that has something to do with education that Granholm was on the Republican side of. And I don't remember all the details because it was a while ago, but I have an excellent memory, Wayne, and that's one of my problems.
So you don't forget.
Office because I'm scared. I think they would hurt me.
So you know too much, huh, Harry?
Tell me this. How did all these illiterate people in Detroit all of a sudden learn how to spell Duggan on them absentee ballots? All of a sudden, people who couldn't read learned how to spell Duggan. 18,000 of them.
People do what they want to. They do what they want to do, huh? Over there, Harry.
Give me a break. All right, now that's number two. Now the other things about.
I got to wrap this one up. Come on, give me the last one, Harry.
All right, I get one more in.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My last one. The one I wanted to use was I don't think Duggan is a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, it's just that people should understand that I think Duggan had a salary of $2 million before he left the DMC. And the other thing was one other thing about him in the DMC. He was the head of the EAA board that got rid of our public schools. He was involved in that also. So, yeah, I got a problem with Duggan.
All right. Well, at least you have some better reasons for supporting Young than some of these other callers. So I appreciate that, Harry. Thank you so much for calling in today. All right, we're going to.
Thank you, Wayne. And you have a good day, man.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to. All right. So we got two more callers here on it. Matilda. All right, we're going to go to Matilda real quick. Matilda, you're back on the line.
Yes. You know what? From the time you first started coming on,
mm-hmm.
you always say, I'm a black Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I know other people who are black Republicans, and I know white Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
I never hear them say, I'm a white Republican, or never hear, I have a couple of close friends who are Republicans. I never hear them say, I'm a black Republican. Why do you say that?
Well, to be honest, that is a promo clip, and if I get my wish, we'll be changing that as soon as possible. So I appreciate you asking me that. But I am a black Republican, and just so people understand from the show, it's going to be a different perspective. You're not going to call in here and get the boo-hoo and blaming the victims and free water for everybody. This is not how we're going to run this show. You might get that on Bullock and all those guys, but we don't do that here.
See, you shouldn't put everybody in the same basket. You know what I mean? You're saying just because people do certain things, you're putting them in this basket, and they're not thinking for themselves.
I didn't say that they're not thinking for themselves. I never said that. I just think for myself. I can't speak for what other people do.
Okay, so I was just concerned why you said you're a black Republican.
Well,
That's
thank
all.
you.
I thought it didn't sound intelligent.
Well, no. Well, for that, thank you for once again reminding me and encouraging me to change that promo material. So we'll get to work on that, Matilda. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right,
Bye.
we're gonna bring in my bro. I think we got him on the line right now. Yeah. All right, we're gonna bring in my good brother Eric Brown to quickly kind of tell us what's going on. He's down in Ford Field right now. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, Wayne? Let me before I talk about the peaceful protest today, the only question I would like to ask or the only comment I would like to say to those calling in, when they talk about the neighborhoods, ask yourself what a Coleman Young Sr., Dennis Archer, Tommy Kirkpatrick, Ken Cockrell,
Dave
Bean,
yep.
Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, Martell, and Philip Morris do for the neighborhoods. And I brought all those individuals as well as those companies up because Detroit is the number one consumer market for buying Hennessy. What has Hennessy done to do anything back in the community?
There you go.
What has Nike done? People line up for hours to buy a new pair of Michael Jordan.
In the cold.
What has Nike done to improve the neighborhoods in the city?
Right.
All the Middle Eastern stores that are owned by individuals. You can't even get them to sponsor a baseball team or sponsor a PAL football team or basketball team in the city. So to expect 47 years of not paying attention to the neighborhood to be put on the back of one person, one term, I don't care if that's part of his platform. It is insane. It is ridiculous. And there's nothing about Joel Loving that should be able to impress any of you people in Detroit to think he would be the best person for the job. Nothing.
Preach.
Absolutely nothing.
Preach.
So get mad if you want. He changed his name for political expediency, and people in Detroit bought into that BS, and look where they're at now. I mean, come on, Joel Loving for mayor. People wake up. But anyway, let me talk about the peaceful protest that I put together today. And one of the things about us as a people, the only way we can sustain something is to not do the things that is counterproductive to what you're protesting about. Can you imagine if someone had started riding the bus after the protest that was started by Rosa Parks? So all these individuals that say they are supporting Colin Kaepernick and they say they're going to the game, they just won't stand up for the anthem, you are a fool. You've already bought your ticket to the game, number one. You will be buying stuff from the concession stands, number two. So not standing for the national anthem, the owners of the team don't give a damn about that because they got your money already.
Right.
And that's why, things like Black Lives Matter, does not sustain itself because you see how quiet it is now.
I haven't heard nothing from Black Lives Matter since Obama's been on office.
You won't hear anything until another person of color dies at the hands of a black cop or a white cop.
No, it has to be a white cop usually, preferably white cop.
Well, white, but I'm just saying that's why the sustainability of efforts are never taken serious because there's an emotional outlash at the immediacy of it. Then it dies.
It doesn't
down
last, right? It doesn't last.
And that's why we as a people are not taken serious, even when it comes to politics. because you have people calling in that I live in the city that's 85% black. I'm going to vote for a black person. Okay, it doesn't matter if the black person is the foolish person in the world. You're still going to vote for that black person because of their skin color. You're going to go see a movie, Medea, because of the person that produced the movie. And I'm glad I will give black people credit for waking up when it came to the movie Marshall and the movie Detroit, because those two movies were not depictions of the Detroit riots from '67 or the legacy of Thurgood Marshall. So blacks stayed away from both those movies.
Right.
As far as the peaceful protest tonight, it's something that you have two coaches that are black, two coaches that are members of the same fraternity as Colin Kaepernick that have been quiet as church mice. You have another incident that had just happened. You have a member of, again, Kappa Alpha Psi, DeMontre Moore, that was cut after raising his fist after the national anthem was performed last week. You know, Jerry Jones stuck to his promise.
Right.
No one is talking about that. You have another owner
comparing it to the
references about
cellmates,
the inmates running the asylum.
Right.
He's come out since and made two different statements. Well, your first statement was a statement, so there's no need for you to make additional statements. So this is, again, to continue on with the efforts of supporting Colin Kaepernick and what he has stood for from the start. And people need to do their history. Back in 1943, it was a court decision in the Supreme Court in the state of West Virginia that already has stated that no one should be forced to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and or stand up for the national anthem. History is something that people act like they're so scared of, like it's a plague. Learn your history, and you will understand that bullcrap that number 45 was talking about makes no sense. The bullcrap the owners are talking about now makes no sense, because there's already a precedent set that no one has to stand for the national anthem and nor recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
So, again, we will be meeting at 269 Erskine between John R. and Brush at 7 o'clock, walking over to the stadium about 7:45. And this is not a Kappa Alpha Psi initiative. This is an initiative of those that believe in doing what's right by a person that has done right by his people.
All right.
That's exactly what Colin Kaepernick has done right by his people, and it's a matter of supporting him.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for calling in and letting the folks know about that. Again, what time? Let them know what corner where you're going to be at if people want to get involved with that.
269 Erskine between John R. and Brush, right south of Mack Avenue. We'll be walking from that address to the stadium about 7:45.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in tonight. Calling this afternoon.
All right, thanks, Lane.
All right. You have a good day, brother. All right.
You too.
All right. So you hear, if you're listening in, they're going to be, obviously protesting for Cap. And he still doesn't have a job in the NFL. And I'm at this point, it's starting to feel like he's probably not going to get a job in the NFL. We had an owner this week who referred to the players as we can't let the inmates run the prison. Very bad analogy, but some people think, hey, that's just how these guys feel. I've because of how I've gone through all this before with folks on this whole NFL issue. I think that both sides have kind of said, put out how they feel. You had this owner from the Texans that pretty much decided he wanted to outdo Jerry. He wanted to go bigger and better Texas, and made a claim that he probably will have to pay for on that issue. He had to apologize to the team, and I do think that some of these players are now consciously paying more attention to these kind of things. I got this one last clip I wanted to play, if we still have it up, regarding what I consider the personal responsibility and some of the things that, unfortunately, the Democrats are putting on my community in regards to personal responsibility and the lack thereof, and the reliance on government and thinking the government's going to do something. I'm going to play this last clip. Go ahead. Let's roll that.
Let's go to the audio sound bites this week. Here's a portion of Ken Rogolsky reporting on WJR in Michigan. Two people here in line for Obama cash. Why are you here?
To get some money.
What kind of money?
Obama money.
Where's it coming from?
Obama.
And where did Obama get it?
I don't know. His stash. I don't know. I don't know where he got it from. But he giving it to us to help us. We love him. That's why we voted for him. I sure did.
Now those are what we call Mayor Young supporters right there. I guarantee those are going to be same people voting for Coleman Young. I didn't want to just harp on it, but I think that the Democrat Party's just done a terrible job a good job of making my community believe that government is there to help us out in that way. And so, give Dems credit. I mean, like I said, out of my vote tally today, we went 9-6 in favor of Young, and half of the people there voted for free water. I know that clip was crazy, Janice. That was a really wild one there. I got some other ones. I didn't delete any comments, so if you got your comments deleted on Facebook, you must have been using some bad language or something. So I don't deal with all that stuff, DeJuan, Prince, or whoever you are, sir. All right, so we got a couple minutes left here. We never got to Trump. I guess you guys are going to have to listen to that tomorrow morning from 5 to 7 a.m. I'm weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. Talking politics, and it's going to be an exciting week of politics. So we did not get to talk the indictments and tax reform and things. All we did today was talk about Coleman Young and the Motherland. Coleman Young and the Motherland. So we're going to take these last couple calls. They're going to be quick, so everyone that's listening, they're going to be very quick. I'm going to run through them. Rick, you're on the line first.
Just got one question, my brother.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say it quick, too, because I'm for Young, and I don't want no free water. Water has to be paid for. It just don't have to be paid for ridiculously.
All
like
right.
the sewer cost and all that mess, okay? Now, number two, I want to know what advantage do you have of being, you and all the other black people have of being Republicans when Republicans have they put on your neck and your fathers and grandfathers and my grandfather all this time. What gives you guys the audacity to call yourself conservative when you leave the room and they laugh at you?
What do you think Democrats are doing to you? Hold on, Rick. Let's start with my grandparents and before that. Black people were Republicans up until the Civil Rights era. So, if anything, my relatives were grateful for the Republican Party helping out the black community. So I didn't get that question. I'll just answer your question this way real quickly, Rick. The reason I'm a Republican and the reason why I believe more people need to be Republicans is because, one, I believe in the principles of the party. Regardless of some of the guys that are in the party that I might not like, I agree with the principles of the party. And two, just for a matter of Two, for the matter of political leverage, black people should be in both parties the way other ethnicity groups participate in both parties. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And black people need to be at the table at both parties. So I'll answer that question. Rick, thanks for calling in. I'll call in tomorrow, 5 to 7 a.m. We'll talk some more. All right, Fern, you're next.
Yeah, comment about Coleman Young being ready to run for mayor. I know when at my job, want to leap from front line of management, you get ready, not ready, or not ready yet. And I think where Coleman Young falls, he's not ready yet.
All right.
Because if he's in office, all those deals that Duggan has set up,
they will fall apart.
Because they're going to fall apart because they're not going to want to negotiate.
And like I kept saying, if he just ran for city council and he wanted to be the thorn in Duggan's side for the next 4 years, then maybe that would give him a chance to actually earn his chops here locally and get some things done. So, Fern, thank you for calling in. We don't have a lot of time left on the show, but I do appreciate you for calling in. Thank you. All right, and we're going to go to Dieta real quick. Dieta, thank you for calling in.
Wayne, I listened to you, and I was quite interested in your topic matter, but your last guest did a lot of name calling, and you then played a clip, and you said that the women who were acting, in my estimation, like buffoons were like the people who were going to vote for Coleman Young. And I was wondering how you arrived at that conclusion.
Well, listen, out of my 7 to 9 voters, 5 of them expected for the water to be free. That doesn't sound similar to what these people were just saying. That's from their mouth. They called, said they were supporting Young. I said, okay, you're supporting Young. Do you think water should be free? Because Coleman Young is making the statement that Duggan is cutting off people's water. He's being a cruel person by cutting off the water. So I'm saying, okay, if you haven't paid your bill, and I went as far as 2 years, so you should be able to keep your water on for 2 years without paying the bill. And 5 of the people out of those people called said yes. Doesn't sound much different. Doesn't sound much different from what those ladies were requesting.
let me just say that the conclusion that you drew based on the people who called you is not nearly, and I think you and I professionally would agree,
let's hope
not nearly it's not nearly a representative sample of what the viewpoints are out there, and you cast it that way.
Let's hope not. Well, I'm casting it based on the callers.
Wayne, if I could finish my thought,
Go
you
ahead.
said you had just a wee bit of time.
Go ahead.
So the point I'm making is that I think most of us who are supporting Mayor Young recognize the fact that we have to pay for water. We also recognize that when we own the water outright, we had a charitable fund that was set up, and the monies that came into that fund from late fees and other fees. And we made certain that no women who had to give their babies formula were without water. We made certain that no senior citizen who needed to ingest medication did not have water. We made certain that Detroiters who were truly in need felt the compassionate arm of this city.
Right.
So it has been done before. We know that it can be done. We know that everyone for the most part, is a responsible resident. We know that there are people who are going to try to, quote unquote, game the system, no matter what the system is. But I do believe that the vast majority of Detroiters are not those kinds of people. And I will go on the record, Wayne, as saying that the vast majority of those of us who support Mayor Coleman Young II are of the opinion that